Hi, guys. Welcome to a special little last minute impromptu pop up, Something Super Spiritual Live. I have a good friend of mine that I met 5 years ago in England. This is Lady Blacksmith. And you guys will absolutely adore her. She was on my podcast last week, or 2 weeks ago, I think we put it out, didn't we? And I've gotten so many really fun and welcoming and aha kind of comments and DMs. And so we wanted to have you on here live and just say hello to everybody. So thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Spiritual Blacksmith, but Jeffrey likes to call me Lady Blacksmith, I guess, as an homage to Bridgerton. But
Yes.
I'm Spiritual Blacksmith. I'm a medium, a psychic, a Reiki master, medical intuitive, just all around spiritual person.
Yeah, you guys. So Lady B here, she is a whole lot of awesome. She is a bright, beautiful light, and she has so much to offer. She's a brilliant psychic medium. We were at Arthur Findlay College in England together. Yeah. She's been there how many times since, right?
Yeah, every year.
Yeah, and she's like she said, animal communicator. She's a yoga instructor. She hosts retreats like I am now. And she does them all over the world too. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, thank you so much. I do a lot. Actually, when you said that, it reminded me of all the things that I do. I do retreats around the world. I do yoga retreats, meditation retreats. Basically, I just call them spiritual healing retreats. I feel like these retreats are times for you to get away and just reconnect. We are so busy in this world of work and family, and we just sometimes need a minute just to come back to ourselves. And so my retreats are a combination of all of that. We do soul work, we do healing work, we do body work, we connect to nature. I like to go out of the country where you don't know the language necessarily, and it's completely out of your comfort zone, because I find for me, when I'm in a place where I'm not used to being, I have to rely on my intuition. You know, when I'm in the United States, I'm on autopilot. I literally can go to home, work, and just in my own zone as I'm driving, and all of a sudden I'm there. But when I'm in another country with another language, other food, other cultures, there's no default place for me to reset to. Like I have to kind of let go and listen. And I could hear my guide speak to me better. You know, there's so many times when I'm out of the country and I'm just kind of meandering down some back alley in some random place. And I hear a little voice go, you know, turn right here. I'll turn and I'll be walking and I'll see a restaurant and go sit down there and eat. Well, I'll sit down there and eat. And all of a sudden someone will sit next to me and we start having a conversation. And all of a sudden we're lost in conversation for 3 hours. During that time, I would have talked about things that were random, but it's what they needed to hear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's an experience that I needed to hear from them. And so we walk away becoming lifelong. If you go on my Instagram, my Facebook, I have so many connections from around the world. So many random meetings like this. And it's funny, if they're on here, they'll probably pop up and go, yeah, we met on a bus. We met on the most random things, but we have the most deepest, authentic connections in that 1, 2, 3 hours that I know I can't typically get if I'm here at home, you know, driving down the highway or just walking by the office.
Yeah, it's so true. Bernadette, you said you'd love to know her spiritual journey. So you know what? She was just on with me 2 weeks ago. So go to the front of my page and look for the Something Super Spiritual season 3, episode 7, I think it is. And we talk the whole thing about her spiritual journey. It is so beautiful, you guys. It's so beautiful. We all have such a different experience. Each and every one of us, it looks a little bit different, you know? And Lady B here, her experience coming out of the Christian religion, the way that she was immersed in it for her whole life. Mm-hmm. And how difficult that is for so many people. And it scares so many people to imagine stepping out and expanding in a way that for all those decades, we're told that it's, you know, blasphemy or it's, you know, against the rules, and we're doomed if we expand or look at anything else. So anyway, beautiful conversation, you guys. Go take a look at that. Something Super Spiritual, season 3, episode 7. It's live. It's on the YouTube as a video, and it's also on all of the audio podcast platforms as well. So
yeah,
awesome. Another thing that I want to talk about that you do that I think is so incredibly beautiful and helpful as well. A lot of you have probably heard about the spiritual plant journeys, the plant medicine that is out there. And it is, there's ayahuasca, there's DMT, there's, what else is there? There's quite a few of them, right?
There's so many plant medicines out there. And you hear on all the podcasts, everyone is talking about them.
Yeah. And so what's happening out there, you guys? There are a lot of journeymen, I guess. Like you facilitate this experience with these people, and it's a very spiritually awakening, spiritually engaging, super ahas come out of these experiences, and she walks you through that. So what are the benefits of the plant medicine journeys? Like what have you witnessed, the miracles that you've witnessed?
I will say everyone has a different experience.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. I always say that, no two people on earth have the same fingerprint. It's impossible, even identical twins. And so along those same lines, no two people are going to experience something the same. And so for many people, plant medicine is a way to drop the gate to the veil that we all hold so, tightly to here, our reality. And it allows you to just expand, get something new. Some people experience getting information from loved ones who are on the other side. Some people hear from guides. Some people have perceptions of past lives and future things to come. Some people get a beautiful, loving peek at what their true hurts are.
Their true
soul hurts, so that you know how to heal.
Oh, HERTZ? That hurts?
Yeah, HURTS.
Oh, HURT. Oh, God, it hurts. Pains, wounds. Got it.
Pains. Yeah, hurts. Yeah, because a lot of people want to heal, but they don't know where to start.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
They have no idea where to start. No idea. Or they've been to therapy. They've talked it out with a licensed person for years, but talking about it is one thing. But then knowing how to begin to heal it is another thing.
Truth.
So sometimes with these plant medicine journeys, you are shown exactly when the hurt happened and exactly what you need to do to let go of it. And sometimes the hurt can be released on its own. Mm-hmm. So when you come out of that journey, you feel lighter. You've actually let go of something. And that to me is priceless. Having someone experience that it's genuinely priceless. And so I would recommend it to anyone. But I will say also know who's facilitating for you. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people who have no business facilitating anything because they haven't gone through the work themselves. Oh, and I always say that, use your intuition. When you meet someone, feel their energy, feel what you pick up, is this person the right person for me? And you should be doing that in all parts of your life anyway. But is this person really what I need? And your body will tell you. We don't listen to ourselves.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
We never listen. Your body will tell you. You'll either get a feeling in your belly or your heart will swell. Like you'll know if someone is meant to be in your life for whatever reason. And so use that when you go to someone and you decide to do any type of plant medicine, whether it be mushroom, whether it be ayahuasca, whether it be sanaga, whatever it is, whether it even be hape. Whatever it is, use your intuition, but go into it knowing that these are all medicines and they have the ability to heal you. And so I have had people say, oh, I've, done mushrooms since I was a kid. I used to eat them when I go to concerts, yada, yada, yada. That's different.
Oh, it's totally different.
When you're taking these things in a healing way, it's completely different. You don't need as much. You're not trying to get high. It's not about getting high. It's nothing to do with that. It's about literally healing yourself. And so I would recommend it if you're able to. and go into it with that mindset of, how can I heal myself right now? Plant medicine, what can you show me? What can you reveal to me? And approach it with reverence and love and respect, and you will get what you need.
Well, intention is everything. So going into it with that is 9/10 of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's really beautiful. I have not experienced ayahuasca or DMT, I have a microdosed with psilocybin. And that's just been really to like kind of experiment with my own struggle with depression, anxiety, and it's that I've struggled with this my entire life. And I didn't really understand it for years and years and years until, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I was depressed, because to me, depressed was sad,
Yeah.
or crying about everything, or
really.
poor me, I'm victim, why can't nobody likes me, everybody hates me, No, it was, but there have just been times where I'm just flat for no reason, flat.
Yeah. That's depression.
I'm happy with life. I love my life. I love the place I'm in. I love my partner. I love you know what I mean? I love so much, but yet why could I possibly be so flat? Anyway, so I've experimented with the little chocolates that are super micro. And I'll say, like, there's no quote getting high.
No.
There's no, like, I've never done psilocybin or mushrooms in a social setting to where, like, I was a little nervous because I like, am I going to see trails of lights? Am I going to see, like, you know what I'm saying? And
you might.
And I didn't. I didn't. But how I knew it was affecting me in the right way, because I was just sitting there wondering, okay, is it going to happen? What is it going to feel like? Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And I was totally fine. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I started giggling.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It lifted me. It really lifted me. And I can see how that is so beneficial.
Yes.
And, I've done it like maybe, I don't know, 8 times, over the last year.
Yeah.
Or maybe 2. But yeah, I find that it's truly amazing. Another experience I had with medicine, it's not so much plant, I don't know. But again, along the same lines, to combat the depression, anxiety, I did the ketamine microdosing.
Okay.
With a doctor or not like a nurse practitioner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That kind of, and holy mackerel! That helped me immensely. But what it did for me was, well, I think probably because where I am on my insides with respect to my spiritual outlook and my spiritual connection, each time I did that, it was like a full-blown spiritual journey. And that's my experience with, like, journeying, I guess, so to speak. But it was truly, truly incredible.
It is. And what I will add too is that no 2 journeys are the same.
Oh God, no. Right.
It's just no. You could take a microdose of something today and then do it again 2 days from now, completely different. Yeah. I've facilitated circles where someone has had, a small amount and been under for, 2-3 hours. And it was so amazing, transformative. Another time to do the same amount, nothing.
Yeah.
It literally has to do with where you are in your life, what's going on, where your energy is, your mindset. There's so many different variables, because I tell people, you're not the same person that you were yesterday.
Yeah.
You're not. Totally. You're not. You have different emotions, different feelings, different people have affected you. Everything's different. And so if you approach it with that reverence, I think you also gain some patience for yourself.
Yeah.
Every day that you are alive on this earth, patience, that you're going through something every day. You're a different person every day.
Yeah.
And sometimes, your version may be different than you had hoped it would be, or your level of best is different than what you'd hoped it to be. And my goal is to do my best every day, but I know that my best will vary day by day.
Completely.
Minute by minute sometimes. You ever have one of those days you wake up, everything's great, then all of a sudden you're a hot mess, but then all of a sudden...
Oh my God. Yes.
Right? So, it happens. Totally. And so I think we all strive to be, good human beings. And sometimes we need help. Sometimes that means, a ketamine, or that means a psilocybin, and that means whatever, maybe a meditation, maybe a yoga. And I also feel too on this, you can get these different effects with other things, like through meditation by itself. I teach yoga. You can have a transformational yoga class where you're able to go deep within. I mean, I taught a class last night, and the theme was, what was it? It was about accepting help. It was about allowing yourself to be supported. And so during the sequence, we use blocks. And I will say, whenever I take a yoga class or teach a yoga class, I tend not to use blocks or props, because subconsciously I feel, oh, I can do this. I got this. I don't need any help. So the class was really about accepting support.
Yes.
Allowing yourself to be supported, which we don't often do. We sometimes are so good at doing for other people, but we don't allow ourselves to be supported, held, and just nurtured. And so during most of my yoga classes, I will partway through stop and have a meditation for about 2 or 3 minutes. And then last night's class, it was just beautiful as I was channeling those words in that dark room. People are laying on their backs, and you could just hear people's breath.
Yeah.
You can hear people sinking and releasing and opening. And it was lovely. Actually, one of my yoga students actually messaged me this morning and talked about how transformational it was. And it was just, we forget the power of breath, the power of community, the power of just being together in a moment. Yes. And saying, I'm accepting a healing right now, whether that healing is through breath work, meditation, yoga, ketamine, ayahuasca. I'm just accepting healing in this moment right now.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And along with that comes a lot of, self-compassion.
Yes.
And grace. Yeah. And we start to get to a place where we're well, like you said, we change. We're changing every day. We're changing with every experience. We're different people, a different person, minute by minute. And as we're moving through this consciously, consciously expanding, consciously aware, our awareness of within is expanding. That whole, we talked about it yesterday a little bit, know thyself. That's expanding. And along with that, suddenly comes this greater sense of accountability, this greater sense of responsibility, this greater sense of how we judged in the past before this particular moment. We judged ourselves, we judged others, whatever, and when we recognize that, it starts to really lighten, and we're not so judgy, and we're not so conditional, and we're not so, black and white, put somebody in a box because either where they live or how, you know what I mean, what they do, all that stuff. And then suddenly it's just, we start to get to a place where all of those judgments, those boxes, those labels, they just don't matter. It's all illusion. They're all masks. They're all,
They don't.
And it's beautiful.
No, and I was going to say that too. I used to be very judgy in my more religious days, very judgy, and it serves no one any good, because if we're outwardly judgy, we're only reflecting what's going on the inside.
Ooh, truth.
You know what I mean? And so, I'm judging someone on what they're, they don't go to church on Sunday. Oh, look what they're wearing. Ooh, look what they're doing. Ooh, but what is that saying about me? How hard on myself am I when I didn't go to church on Sunday, or when I was wearing something that I didn't feel was godly enough, and so, that judgment is a horrible, horrible thing. It's horrible. And the more we can release the judgment, realize that we're all the same. At the end of the day, we all bleed the same red blood. We all want the same things. We all want, to be safe and secure, to have a livelihood, to have our loved ones be okay. We all want the same things, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what color you are, how much money you have, what language you speak. We literally all want the same thing. And when we can remember that and have that compassion, it allows you to stop seeing people as other. And it's a we, it's us.
This total we.
It's a we, so when I look at what's going on around the world now and in the US, it hurts my heart, because we've forgotten that we are a we. We literally are a we.
Yeah.
It never was an other. It's always been a we, but we've been conditioned to believe that there's an other.
Yeah, and they're different than us.
They're not.
And we're better than them.
Right.
You know?
We're not.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Yeah. You know?
Oh,
so, yeah.
Sweetheart. Yeah, this is a really, really beautiful conversation.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're here.
I know. I can't believe we met so long ago.
I said she was beautiful. Isn't she beautiful? You guys, let's look at everybody. Sharon Sipes. Sharon, thank you so much for being here and all of your amazing admin skills. I mean, you got the skills, darling. Bernadette, it's nice to see you again. Water Lily, Amanda.
I know. Saying hi to everyone, all the nice people. Yeah. Thank you so much for all my people. I see you on Instagram. Hi, Stacy. Hi, everyone. I love all of you guys. Thank you for showing up.
Yeah, really. Granny. Hey, Granny. It's good to see you again. And Jessica. Hey, Jessica. Rosita. Yeah.
Should we take questions too?
Yeah. You guys have questions? Put it in the comments.
Yeah.
You guys, we're going to be doing readings for you here, shortly. And you guys know, put your questions. You want a card pulled, you want a connection to your spirit guides, a message, whatever you need. Let us know in all caps. It's just easier for us to see the message as that's flying by. And to my Instagram, hi Maria, I see you. J Perez, I see you again. And Steve Jock Penwarden. Hi there, Steve. Yeah, it's fun to be here on a Thursday. This is a little bit different. We're usually doing this on a Wednesday.
I know, and it's always weird, getting to chat with people who I don't normally get to see, because I think the last time we were physically in the same room was years ago in England at the college.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
Yeah. So.
And I just love that. We've stayed in contact,
right? And
that you're doing such amazing things, and just watching what you're doing, on your social media. Oh, you guys go follow Spiritual Blacksmith on her Instagram, her YouTube, her website, spiritualblacksmith.com. And take a look at everything she's doing. It's really beautiful. You even have a little store in
I do. I have a store in San Diego, opened it up in May. So clients can come in for readings, healings, Reiki, sound healings as well. All that stuff. I curate, because I travel a lot. I do retreats a lot. So I always curate from around the world when I go someplace and bring back some cute goodies to sell in the store. Yeah. And so I was recently in Bali and Cambodia and Thailand. So I got some things from there that are in the store now. Got another retreat coming up in a few weeks, October the 18th in Mexico in Ensenada. It's going to be an ayahuasca retreat. So if you have any questions about that, DM me, email me, info@spiritualblacksmith.com, or go to my website. The information is there as well. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Bernadette has a question for you. So Bernadette says, my question is relating to chronic pain and mental health. Will I ever see again? I feel like I'm blind, even though I can see. Reality doesn't feel the same.
So, Jeff, are you going to feel into that as well?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I always say, just to put it out there, that our body has metaphysical functions that mirror physical functions. And so anytime someone is having a physical ailment, a physical issue, my first go-to is what's going on spiritually that's causing that. Because lots of our body parts govern different spiritual parts. And so, when you're talking about your eyes, that always leads me to my third eye, right here. And, what is blocking my vision spiritually? What thoughts, what thought patterns, what belief systems are blocking my vision spiritually that are impacting it so much that it has now impacted my physical, right? And so when you're talking about the chronic pain, my instinct would be, okay, where in your body are you holding this pain? And then my medical intuition part of me wants to dive into that and say, okay, how does that really mirror what's going on? How can we get to the root of what's going on emotionally, spiritually, to then resolve it in the physical? Mm-hmm. Because, if you grew up and going to church, you know, you always hear people say, as above, so below.
Yeah.
You know, and so that to me really holds true. So just like in heaven, also on earth, just like in spirit, also in reality. So anytime I have an issue that's going on here in my physical body, I need to go back spiritually. What's going on? Where did it start there? And so, Bernadette, for you, I know sometimes it can be hard dealing with chronic pain and mental health issues and going to doctors here and looking for the cure in a pill or something. But if you can, and I don't know what your spiritual journey has been like, but really dive into where in your body you're holding this pain and when did it start. That's always a key as well. When did it start? You know, sometimes I see a client and I will get a number in my mind, and Bernadette, as I'm talking, I'm getting number 23 with you. So I don't know if anything happened in your life around age 23 of significance to you, but if something did, perhaps going back there and allowing your mind to open up and see what was going on in my life around that time, or and how could that be affecting me. So
She says the pain is in my spine skeletal system. Right now I have already bad cluster migraines that started this morning. Oh,
yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. So your skeletal foundation is, you know, the root of your body. And so I'd probably go back to your childhood, but also I'm really stuck on that 23. So I'm not sure what was going on in your life around that age, but I would start there and see if anything opens up for you then, and then see how and where, and maybe where earlier and on in your life it could have began and then maybe exacerbated or blew up or, you know, culminated in your early 20s.
Yeah, you know, Bernadette, I have this sense that, like, I want to talk about your environment. I feel like the environment needs a cleaning or a cleansing. Not that you're, you know, living dirty or you know, and I'm not like that. But I feel like that your environment needs a shift. I want to encourage you to really like look around where you are. I feel this sense of stagnancy. I feel this sense of like not having a hard time moving forward, stepping forward, like in and I mean like on multiple levels, like, you know, spirit, like physically, emotionally, mentally. It just, I feel like I'm afraid to take a step forward. Let me know, Bernadette, if this makes sense to you. I feel like that, you know, when we talk about the spine, when we talk about the skeletal foundation of this body, this meat bag that we came in with, and we're moving through life in this vehicle, right? The spine is the support. The spine is the support of our body, right? It's the core and the support of our body, right? The skeletal system with all its joints and movement, you know, that makes me feel like there is a feeling within you where you don't feel supported. You don't feel supported, like however that might look. Maybe you have, maybe you were abandoned. Maybe you had relationships that didn't support you, whether that's, you know, personally, emotionally, mentally, or whatever your you know, passions are, you know, and or the leading you to feeling like you're afraid of taking that next step forward. You're afraid of trusting like which direction you want to go. Oh yeah. Okay. So she says, I agree. I've been wanting to move and I'm not happy where I am.
Yeah.
So open yourself up, Bernadette, you know, open yourself up to the potential and possibility, and see it as a probability that you will make this change, that you will make this move. You'll move, you know, you're ready to move. Open that up and hold on to it without expectation, without demand. Allow spirit to worry about the how. Allow the universe to worry about the how, and just follow those synchronicities that lead you from one step to the next, right? And I also feel like I really want to also, I don't know if you're connected with Reiki, if you're attuned with Reiki, but if you're not, I'd like you to look into it. Of course, I think everybody should look into it. I think everybody should be attuned to Reiki.
Yeah.
But if you're not, that's totally okay. You know what? Call on Archangel Raphael. Archangel Raphael is the healing archangel. Call on him and his troop of angelic doctors, healers, estheticians, massage therapists, energy practitioners. Call on all of them, and just sit with it, and just let them do for you spiritually what they can do for you.
Nice, Jeffrey. Thank you. What about Samantha? Samantha, I think she said she wanted some guidance from her angels.
Yes.
I don't know if you see that message.
Yes.
So,
Thank you, Bernadette.
message of support.
Samantha, I would appreciate a message of support from my angel team. Okay. Samantha, you know what? Do you have when I sense orange in your field, it signifies to me that there is a change, there's a shift, there's a potential of a move, either with your home or with your work, and or how you're earning your income. So I feel like that there is this shift, this and it feels somewhat exciting to me. It feels like you're leveling up almost. And I feel like that like more than anything, your guides, your guardians, your angels, all of your team on the other side is really like pinging you to stand in that power, stand in that personal power and confidence, and realize and recognize, who you are, what you're bringing to the table, and remember how awesome you are with what you're doing and where you're going. It's really a cool feeling. Like when I'm feeling in your auric field, your energy, your field, it's like I just want to like jump up and down, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah, I just want to add on a little bit of that. I felt the same thing. I felt a woman coming in, Samantha, and she was bringing the energy of a horse in, and it was like a wild stallion, white horse that was so strong. And it was like, you are forgetting all the power that you have, all the majestic strength that you have, and just don't allow yourself to be caged in and boxed in, like run free. And so this woman, she feels like an older woman. It feels almost like a grandmother, but not quite. So someone who maybe would have been like a grandmother to you, maybe a godmother, something like that, or an older aunt, but she just wants to remind you of the power that you have and not to allow yourself to be caged in. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Then what else? I think we have Heather Klein. Do you see Heather's note? It says, my aunt, who I'm super close to, is here visiting, and she lost her daughter 6 years ago and husband 2 years ago. Do either of you have any feelings from loved ones in spirit?
Heather, be at the ready, please. Be at your keyboard at the ready, so that you can reply to us. With regard to, I feel the man, I feel the husband, I think. But let me describe him so that I know that this is him. There's a feeling of, I feel like I struggled with my health. I feel like I had a pretty good outlook on life. I feel like I had a personality, like a personality of fun, of a togetherness, family, patriarchal. But I feel that this sense of health kind of like quieted all of that down a little bit. But I feel like there was still this sense of optimism and the sense of positivity about him. And I feel like I also need to, well, there she is. Good. So Heather, let me know if this resonates with you. But I feel like there's this, this like in his younger days, there's like a larger than life, like personality, outgoing, active, fun. And I feel like that there is this sense, like I want to remind her that I have not been missing out. I have been present. I have been, I was gonna say playing with the dog. If there's a dog, I was just gonna like that was just gonna fly out of my mouth. So yeah, if you recognize that, there's just this feeling like I really want to acknowledge that he's with her on the difficult days. He sees, he hears her. Do you understand her talking to his picture, Heather? I feel like I need to remind her that she doesn't need to look at his picture to talk to him. I know sometimes it's easier for us to look at a picture and say what we need to say, but there's feeling of this reminder that he hears everything she has to say on the inside of her head with her voice, and she doesn't need to go to a picture. Are you picking up anything, Charlie?
Well, I'm just tuning in, and I just have, as soon as I read her message, I just was overcome with the sweetest memories. I feel like I was at a fair, and I feel like I'm in the Midwest. I'm from the Midwest, and I feel like I would have had memories of going to a fair with people. And then as you were talking, I was just kind of feeling into the energy of this gentleman. And what he made me feel as though he really holds your heart, Heather, because as Jeffrey was talking, I really felt like my heart was just being held and squeezed. And so it's like he really wants to hold your heart. It's like he knows the extent of how broken, I feel like I'm getting emotional, how broken and how this has really almost shattered your heart and your emotions. And so he's like putting his arms around my arms and holding and like almost squeezing the pieces back together again. And so just know that he knows all the tears that you've cried. He knows what you're going through, but he also wants to hold you through that. Right. And so even when you don't think he's there, or you feel like, oh my God, I'm just overwhelmed with losing my daughter and my husband, just know that he's there holding you. And I feel like your daughter, it's weird. I just feel like I just wanted to touch your hair or pat your hair. So I don't know if she ever patted your head or touched your hair, but I just got that sensation now. So I want to pass that on to you from her, and know that he is also holding your heart. So.
Yeah. And also Heather, just, and this is for all of us here. This is just a reminder for all of us that our loved ones are never missing out. They are so much a part of our lives.
Yeah.
They are so much a part of our experience. And just to remember that although it seems like through that really, really difficult grief after losing our closest loved ones, it's the worst. I think grief is the worst thing that we're here for.
Yeah.
As human beings.
Yeah.
But just a reminder that although they are not physically here, the relationship and the bond can continue to grow. It's just different. It's just different. It can absolutely continue to grow.
Yeah. So let's see if we can see any other notes. I know we talked about all caps, but I think some are just typing in their requests. So let's see what we see.
You know what? I see all of this, and I can't quite. Now I can see it all.
Okay.
So Amanda I've been experiencing headaches. I've dropped a certain BP. Oh, stopped or I have dropped. I've dropped a certain BP medication. I'm supposed to get an over-the-counter sub. Drawn to Hawthorne. Just curious, is it physical, spiritual, or both? Thank you. Okay, so Amanda, just as a friendly reminder, we're not doctors.
Yep, the lawyer in me says, wait a minute, pause. Yeah.
So we obviously don't diagnose. We can't diagnose. We won't diagnose. We won't tell you, you know, as a doctor would. But let me tell you what it feels like to me. There is this sense, Amanda, that it does feel physical. There is a sense of physicality to it. However, there's also a feeling about it where it's temporary. Like, I feel like it's temporary. I feel like I just need to remind you that it's temporary. I feel like that this, along with this other counter sub, how you described it, I feel like I really just want to support that, but also remind you that there's more to it with regard to like your intake. And like how I say your intake, I mean like the nutrition intake, the micronutrition intake, the exercise output. There's a feeling of like, I want to, like, I feel like I'm being pinged just to remind you to amp it up a little bit, to amp up your own, how do I say that? Your own action, your own accountability, your own piece in combating this along with the counter sub. And it feels to me like there's a sense of taking that on in such a personal responsibility kind of way. It just makes me feel like there's so many other changes in line for you along with that, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So yes, I do feel like there's a spiritual element to it as well. It's all connected. Like Lady B was saying earlier, as above, so below. And what's happening on the inside, happening on the outside, higher level self, you know, getting us messages, how we need to shift, how we need to change, how we need to adapt, how we need to treat ourselves. So yeah.
And I would just add that, Amanda, I'm getting, you know, when I tuned into your energy, I was feeling the energy swirling around in my mind. And I feel like, oh, these are thoughts. And so I don't know if there's a gentleman that has been on your mind or you've been replaying the story of what happened with this person, but I feel like it's just going around in my mind. It almost gave me a headache just tuning into this energy. So if that is the case with you, I like to visualize things. If you can visualize like opening up your head and just and letting those thoughts out, you know, so that they don't keep going in the same circle. So that's what I would add for you as well.
Yeah, and you know what? There's one more thing, Amanda. I just want to remind you that I just want to encourage you and also remind you to remind yourself how awesome you are in the mirror. Remind yourself how worthy you are, how what you desire, what you're striving to accomplish, that you're worth it. You're worth it. And I feel like that there's an aspect of that on your insides as well, that your guides are like pinging me just to remind you. And I feel like you already have a pretty, a decent, well, more than decent spiritual practice. I mean, you just said here, you eat fairly well and you walk every day. You know, we can always do better. But remember, like we said earlier, grace, give yourselves grace. The body is telling us what the body is telling us. And sometimes, you know, and I'll say this just from my own experience with my own relatives. I have mothers in my lineage who have struggled with chronic pain for literally the last decades of their life. And I've often wondered why doctor after doctor after doctor after doctor, pill after treatment after pill after treatment, and none of it even really touches it. And it just makes me wonder, sometimes in this human body, this human brain, we're just really not meant to know the bigger reasons why. And we're just really meant to, it's there for us to move through with compassion and grace and allow ourselves to really recognize, okay, what do I need to learn from this? What is my message? And how can I grow? How can I be a better person? How can I see and hear others in a way that, helps them, that touches me on the inside? And I wish it were easier said. I wish it were easierly said. However want to say that, that there were answers. Sometimes there's just not.
Yeah. I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree. We're all here to learn at the Earth School.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I see another question. How about from David Escobar? It says, I've been emotional lately, thinking of past loved ones who've passed. Are they trying to tell me something?
Can you read that again, please, darling?
Yes. It says, I've been emotional lately, thinking of past loved ones who've passed. Yeah.
You know what, David? Absolutely. They are trying to tell you something. I honestly believe that, like, how you worded this question really is beautiful. And it's a really great reminder for all of us here that, yeah, you know what? Your loved ones are always with us. Your loved ones are always around, and you're feeling them. You're feeling their presence, and you're touching in to their essence. And it's touching you on your insides in a way where you're reminded of who they were and how much you miss them. And are they trying to tell you something? Yeah, they're just trying to tell you how much they love you and that they're still part of your life. They might even be pinging you to say, hey, we're watching everything you're doing. Don't forget to include us. When you're feeling like you're being pinged by your loved ones, know that you are. If you're questioning it, the answer is yes.
I would also add in too, as you were speaking, Jeffrey, David, I saw a picture in my mind's eye of a gentleman. He seems kind of tall, on the bigger side. And I don't see a lot of hair with this gentleman. So he's either balding or bald. And it's like he's juggling things. And he's making me laugh. And so I feel like the message to you is, don't forget to have fun. Don't forget to be lighthearted. Don't forget to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Don't forget to sit down and just have a good time, have a laugh. And I don't know if you've been doing that lately, or if you've been so focused or been serious on getting where you need to go, but don't forget to enjoy. And this person doesn't feel like during life he would have been that way. I feel like this is a lesson that he's learned now, because he seems very stoic. He's kind of a bigger guy, but then he's like juggling. So it's a little juxtaposition. But I feel like that's the message for you. Don't do what he did. Don't be in this life and be so focused on work and everything that you're doing and getting things done that you forget to have fun. Oh, you said that was my mentor. Oh, okay. Thank you for confirming. So that's his message to you.
Yeah. And David, I also want to add in there that you are really dialed in. You're really dialed in. You're very, very sensitive, and your spiritual senses are online. So I just want to remind you that, when you are sensing these things, you're an absolute feeler. You're a total empath. I can feel your feeliness. and sometimes, when we're that sensitive and we can really sense the energy in a room, or the energy of people who might not be having the best day and they're pretty cranky, or pretty miserable in that moment. We can feel that, right? And we can absorb it. So knowing that, just remember that, you don't have to absorb that. Visualize yourself in a white bubble or a disco ball or, however it needs to be for you. And just know that that is your, you're just protecting yourself. You're putting yourself in a little good bubble of juju, because yeah. And I really want to encourage you to, pay attention to the synchronicities with respect to your spiritual path and teachers who come across your path, because I feel like that you are being pinged to really start stepping into that consciousness much more expansively.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, David. Thank you for being here.
So what else do you see, Jeffrey?
Go to my Instagram and see what.
Yeah, we can go on the gram. I think I see a few people on my Instagram who have asked some things.
Yeah. Pick one on your Instagram.
I see, let me see right here. Lisa, it says, my spirit team has gifted me with some alone time for a couple months. I know it's meant for me to focus on my journey. Any messages you could share from my angel team would be great.
What is the name?
Lisa.
Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for being here. A couple of things, Lisa.
Pulling cards?
Not yet. Okay. I'm feeling. So, Lisa, I feel like I want to, I'm ready to make a decision. I feel like I'm ready to make a choice. I feel like there's like I'm at a fork and I'm ready to pick which direction I'm going. However, I feel like I want to encourage you to step back a moment, just step back and just examine all of the options and all of the probabilities. There's a feeling about this decision where feeling through it. I feel so good on the other side of it, but I don't want you to make the decision impulsively. And I want to encourage, I feel like I'm being pinged to really remind you to look at the bigger picture. It's like, when we have a decision to make and we want to choose what is feels better now in the moment, but we know if we choose the other, it's going to be better for the longer term. That's how it feels to me. And with regard to, I'm feeling your heart. There's a center around your heart that I want to talk about too. And I feel like that there is, I feel like I want to remind you to open your heart a little bit more receptivity, a little bit more trust, specifically with yourself. What are you feeling, darling?
Well, I know Lisa, so I can't feel too much, but I can resonate with what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
I can resonate with what you're saying. Yeah, on her behalf.
All right. Thank you, Lisa.
Do you see more on your Instagram? I have another person on Instagram that says, "Oh yeah, Lisa says resonates completely." So she's, yeah.
Yes, let me find, okay, hang on just a second here. Jim Spy, let me know you're still here. So Jim Spy on Instagram says, it feels like suddenly my sis and I are becoming clairaudient. So this is just a comment. And I just want to point this out to everybody who's watching, listening, either now or in the future. When we feel this, it's happening. Mm-hmm. And what I really want to remind you guys is that when it is happening, just allow it. Allow it with an open heart and without expectation or demand as to how we feel or believe it should be happening. Mm-hmm. And I say this from my own experience, because For me personally, my clairaudience was the last thing online. Well, let's be clear. It was online the whole time. I just didn't know it because I expected it to be so different.
Right.
I had friends who were naturally very clairaudient their entire life. And I would hear stories about how, oh, they heard voices, with this ear, the physical ear. Or if, so I was expecting to hear voices eventually, like, oh, I'm becoming more open and more spiritual. Why aren't I hearing voices on the outside? No. And then I'd talk to others who were super clairaudient. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, I don't hear anything on the outside, but I hear it all on my inside, on the inside here, the spiritual hearing. I hear, they would say, I hear an old Jewish grandmother voice in my head right now. And I'm like, okay. So suddenly I'm expecting and or demanding, when am I going to hear an old Jewish grandmother's voice in my head? And let's be clear, I have never heard anybody else's voice inside my own head. It's just me. I'm not saying other people don't. That's just me. Yeah. But when I really started to open up and be surrender to how I'm wired, I recognized that I was getting it the whole time. It just sounded like my own voice. And I thought it was my own. I was making it up. I thought I was just listening to my own thoughts. But they were using my own thoughts. They were using my own energy, right, Lady B?
No, I agree. I'm laughing because, that's probably the biggest hindrance to my spiritual awakening was that I would hear other people talk about the way they experienced their gifts. And I was looking for that.
Yes.
And that was the biggest hindrance, I remember being in a class one day and we were talking about reading auras and seeing aura colors. And people are like, oh, you just look over the shoulder, you see this color. I saw diddly squat. I was so frustrated because I wasn't seeing anything at all. And at one point I remember just going, you know what? Fine. Well, I didn't say fine. I said the F word because I have a really potty mouth. My spirit team.
Sometimes the F word can be spiritual.
It's spiritual every day with me.
Yes.
Anyway, so I was like, frick it. And I said, well, if I could see the colors, what would they be? And immediately these three colors popped in. And I was like, oh. And so I realized that day that I perceive things. I don't see them with my physical eye, but I perceive them. So if I'm reading someone's aura now, I would say, okay, what colors am I perceiving? Immediately the colors come right in. Yeah. And I could see it subjectively within my mind, what we call on the inside subjectively, but I don't see it objectively outside my body.
Right.
And so, but that's something I have to deal with. And so I have lots of friends who can see your loved one standing next to you as if they're looking at another person. I don't see objectively like that. I see subjectively. In my mind's eye, I see a gentleman about 6'3" juggling. That's what I see on the inside. And so yes. It's also different. And I feel like I wish that would have been ingrained in me more in the beginning of my awakening, that I will perceive and know and feel differently because no two people have the same fingerprint. Uh-huh. That would have been a game changer. And that would have allowed me to remove any restrictions on my mind regarding what my gifts were and how they appear for me.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And look at how beautiful that is. I mean, you literally just handed yourself a permission slip. And that's all it takes. That's all so much of this is just giving ourselves a permission slip. And more often than not, it's our mentors, our coaches, our teachers, that are giving us the permission slip to be who we are and how we are and what we're here to be and do. And, and it's, and I love that. There's huge value in that, because for me, when I started to recognize loved ones on the other side, it happened after I was attuned to Reiki. It all started coming in so fast when I was doing Reiki treatments with people on my table. And I was not buying it. I just wasn't buying it. I was like, it's not me. It's just not me. Yeah. And so what ended up happening, when the teacher is ready, when the student is ready, the teacher arrives. And in that, you suddenly end up with a teacher, a tutor, a coach, a mentor, whatever we want to call them. Mm-hmm. And we're in a position where somebody is believing in us more than we believe in ourselves right now. Yeah. And that's the energy that they're holding. That's the space, the container that they're holding for us. And our little selves are, we're growing up really quickly, and suddenly we give ourselves a permission slip, and boom, it all starts to come in clearly. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's how everything works. And you mentioned a moment ago our loved ones on the other side. And I actually want to come back to something because I've had a few people in my Instagram ask, and also conversations come up recently, and also not the same question you just answered, regarding seeing things and hearing things. What do you think about how people get to know their spirit guides and their spirit team? We've talked about our loved ones. Are our loved ones always our spirit team? And what would be your advice to people on how they can get to know who their spirit team is so that they can have these conversations or ask for them to be helped in expanding their gifts? Like, what's your take on that? I'm interviewing you now. I'm just saying.
Right. I love this. I absolutely love this. So, my experience with my guides was very personal, and it was very, it just happened. And I went into it with intention that I wanted to meet my guides. I wanted to meet my guide. I felt like I had one main guide. I felt like I had one, and he felt like my manager. He felt like he was just managing, who I met, when I met them, pinging me on what I should do about it and the direction I should go and the actions I should take. And I literally put myself in a meditation. I was out for a run, and I was outside in this really beautiful area. I sat down. I put myself in that place with the intention of meeting this male guide. I knew it was a male. And all of a sudden, visually, kablam, I start to see and visualize. It just looks like this. It looks like you're looking at a memory. It's just all starting to happen. It feels like you're making it up. But again, give yourself the permission slip to make it up. Yeah. And suddenly it's all starting to happen. And I see this man walking up to me, and he's beautiful, and he's got this presence about him, and this calmness and this wisdom and this confidence and this strength and this like if any one of us had this person at our side in life, oh my gosh, we would have no fear, no doubts, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what our guides are. So I looked at him. I said, "Who are you? What's your name? What can I call you?" And I heard him say, "Maharaja." And I was like, okay, you know what? I don't know what you're saying, but can I call you MJ? So cool. So I call him MJ. He's my manager. And he was dressed in this safari outfit, like you would have a safari guide driving you on a big Jeep through the deserts of the Sahara.
Wow.
And before we left, I said, "Why are you dressed like that?" And he said, "You're the one that said we're on an adventure." The day before, I had this feeling that I wanted to meet my guides. And I said, "You guys, I know you're part of this. I know that we have this contract together. I don't know who you are. I don't remember who you are, but I know we're on an adventure. So I just want to be reminded who you are." And then it happened the next day. And I was like, let's be honest. I am not that clever to, in the middle of a very deep meditation, be reminded that I said that the day before. But when he said, "You're the one that said we're on an adventure," I was like, whoa, okay. Yeah. And that was just the start. And, we've got a bunch of guides. We've got guides for different seasons of our life, different challenges in our life. Yeah. And sometimes the guides, sometimes maybe they don't have a name. If you don't get a name, accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you see them as a purple energy, listen, as human beings, we are led with the ego, right? Mm-hmm. That's what we're here with, an ego. And the ego identifies individually. That's why we have names for each other. Right. So if you don't get a name, but you see him as a purple energy, call him purple.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's perfect. Yeah.
No, that's so, I agree. I mean, people ask me who my guides are, and I know a few of them because they're my loved ones on the other side. And I know that because during readings, they always come in like My grandmother always pushes to the front. And every time I get a reading, they're like, I got this woman here. I'm like, I know who it is. It's Matilda. Pushes to the front. She gives me information that's always on point. So I know my grandmother is one of my guides. I also know her husband, my grandfather on my mother's side, also pops in. He was a businessman. So whenever I have business issues or questions or concerns, people will pick up on him in the reading. He'll come through. And so just like you said, you have different guides for different things. And so if I need nurturing and love and support and to be held, and just my grandma Matilda's there. If I need to be reminded of my spiritual gifts and who the fuck I am, my grandma Evangeline's there, my father's mother, or my grandfather's there, Bernard, he'll come through and they'll go, hey, business-wise, you need to be doing X, Y, and Z. And so I feel like you have different guides for different things. But I love what you said about not putting them in a box of who and what and how they appear to you.
Yeah.
I mean, one time I was sleeping, and all of a sudden one of my guides came in, and I say guides because it still trips me out. And he just looked at me and he said, you need to get a hold of your mind. And he was this chubby white dude, pasty pale with red hair. And I was like, yo, man, first of all, what is this? Not expecting that. And he kept saying it to where I was like, okay. Damn. But I realized that was going to get my attention, you know? And it's funny because I woke up the next day and I was like, that was really trippy. But he spoke with such authority that I knew he's here to, you know. And then a friend of mine the next day, when I talked to her on the phone, she said, hey, have you read this book called The Power of Now? Ooh. No, it's about really getting control of your mind and blah, blah, blah. And whoa. And so I was like, okay, so that was one of my people that came in. And I've never seen him again, this chubby white dude with red hair, but I'm sure that it changes form to whatever I need in the moment that's going to get my attention.
Yeah.
You know, and also too, I've had past life readings where I've been told about past lives and people from those past lives and how they chose to remain on the other side to be my guide in this life.
Yeah.
So I guess to answer the question, your guide can be anyone you've been in contact with in this life, or someone in a previous life, or an energy or an entity, or even, you know, I was at a Tony Stockwell course recently in England that we talked about star beings.
Yeah.
Maybe some of you guys have your guides from, the Arcturians or some other intelligent life form. We don't know. I mean, one time I had a vision and I was taken to planet Pluto. And I was like, what the F was that about?
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't believe it at all. But then something happened the next day that confirmed that I did, in fact, go to Pluto to go have a conversation with these people there. So do I have a connection? Do I have guides that are there on that planet? I probably do. Can my human mind conceive this? Absolutely not. And it's okay. I have to give myself permission to just believe and know that whatever I need will be brought to me in whatever way I need at the time I need. So,
100%.
So yeah, but that guides thing is always an interesting topic.
Yeah. Oh, it's fascinating. And yeah, you know, I've had experience with the galactics or the star beings, whatever we want to call them. They're starting to come in more and more in whether it's meditation or maybe I'll get a flash in my mind, you know, a flash of what an ET would look like. You know what I mean? Something alien or galactic, you know, and all of a sudden, like synchronistically, I might see it go past my page on my newsfeed, you know, where I'm not paying attention, but suddenly it's in front of my face. And okay, that's a synchronicity. Pay attention. So yeah, there's so much that we can't even conceive. We just can't. This with this human brain, we try to put everything in a box and label everything, and everything's black and white, and it's either this or this or this, and there's so much with spirit that is so not black and white.
No, it's impossible.
And yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's really about just being flexible and open and receptive. And here's another thing, like if anything that we're saying here on the show, any particular episode, day, whatever, if it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay.
No,
leave it. You know, like Buddha said, take what resonates and leave the rest.
Yeah.
So, you guys, it is about 10 after 5, almost quarter after 5. I have a dinner reservation in 30 minutes, and I have to get my dogs walked and pottied before I head out the door. This has been so much fun. Oh my
No, this was
God.
great. We need to do this again.
Absolutely. I was just gonna, when we get off here, let's get you back on the schedule.
Yeah,
let's do another pop-up. I like doing another day during the week. So
yeah, me too.
You guys, thank you so much for being here. All of you who have been here in this last hour. Instagram ends at an hour. So those guys, I hope they can come back and watch the rest of this on YouTube. I know you guys have a bazillion places where your attention can be, and I'm so honored and grateful that you are here with us. Our little community is growing. I have, as you know, beautiful, amazing, transformative friends that join me on this. And with I'm so glad that you're added to the roster, Lady Blacksmith.
I'm glad to be here. And I love the Lady Blacksmith. I feel like, ooh, Lady Blacksmith. I don't have a good British accent, but if I'd have like the thing that they have in their hair, like on Bridgerton, where it's all like up and with the little, yeah.
I love it. So, all right, you guys, have a beautiful day. You'll see me again next Wednesday with, I said it yesterday and I don't remember now. Next Wednesday, 4:00 Pacific. All right, you guys, I love you to smithereens. Have a great weekend.
Bye, guys. Stay blessed.